Hello and welcome to episode 147 of Nugget's Dungeon Terrain. Having just created a whole Underdark tile set, I'm now revisiting this for the second time. And just like the other sets in this latest series, I'm going for a lower profile for more economy of time and space. The 2cm profile is sliced laterally into two 1cm parts, and then I cut out the borders, leaving the spaces where the room connections will be. This section will have two different pathways, so I'm dividing it with this doubled up wall in the middle. I then used the hot wire probe to cut out this middle section. This film is sped up 8 times to give you an idea of how long it would take. I find that this slow sawing motion helps me to get through with the probe. The pieces that I'm taking away, I'm collecting as one set, and I'm going to create some cavern terrain, which I'm selling online to top up my resources. These are the entranceway stairs, very basic and won't play a very large role in the game. So here's a dried out shell from a stone fruit, I think it's a nectarine, and I'm using it to create this slightly more alien looking base. So where I might normally use alfoil or a rock, I'm creating this more regular pattern. I try not to go over the same space twice, and wherever I need to push up against the wall, I'm careful not to ride up on the edge of the seed and make a different pattern. This special U-turn section has a chasm edge instead of walls, so to make it a little bit more obvious, where I've cut out this jagged wall, I'm just pushing it with a stone. I wanted to build this entire dungeon quite quickly. In the end it only took me 4 hours to make it from beginning to end. So to speed up the process I decided to sponge over the pattern. I also sponge over the cliff edges, the tops and the insides of the walls, but I don't sponge over the outside of the walls to make it clearer that this is a negative space. This objective room has a bottomless pit, made to look even more ominous with some thorns lining the sides. Here are some dried out rose thorns that I've collected, and here is where I'm going to place them. With that first coat finished, I then take some purple paint and flick it around all of the edges. Because the dungeon's only 2 centimeters high, I can't build up the same mounds of fungus and other interesting terrain that I did the first time I built the Underdark. So instead, I'm building a series of scatter terrain. This and all the other soft material that I'm working with in this part is all oven-baked polymer clay. Here I'm going to use a large washer, a marble, some polymer clay and some beads to make a large round fungus that will shoot out spore darts. As an experiment, I try a couple of drawing pins covered over with polymer clay. And this is a starting point for a carnivorous plant. Here are the polymer components just before they go into the oven. Now baked, I assemble all the parts of the carnivorous plant, attaching them first to a washer. The clay attached itself pretty well to the marble after the baking process, but I did add a little bit of super glue just to make sure. I then also added super glue to the top and attached this series of different sized small beads. Here I'm attaching the toothpick shafts to some of the more traditionally shaped fungus. These small glass beads placed around a few stones on a washer will become a crystal outcrop. This large amount of fungus is built on top of a scrap piece of XPS foam. To the blank spaces on the bases, I placed some small glass stones and in between them this artist medium gel. I use the same gel to connect up and smooth over some of the joins in the carnivorous plant. Finally, here's a look at all of the different finished components, including some of the cards that I made to match some of the different scatter terrain.
you.